All right, what's up, guys? Ethan Krellenston here with Haisam and Nicky Ryan, two phenoms in the grappling world. And we're about to give you our perspectives on the recent UFC Fight Pass Invitational. All right, so from being at home, watching it on the TV, it was super seamlessly executed. The production was super high quality. It felt like a UFC style event. It's super cool to see like the grappling world move into the UFC world. So it's really interesting to see them mesh. It's cool seeing my friends up there. It's cool seeing our training partners and the B team represent on the UFC stage. So yeah, that was watching from home as guys in the stands there. How was it, Nicky?
It was good. You know, like you said, from a production standpoint, you know, I think it's one of the best in jiu-jitsu. You know, like it's super good that the UFC is really diving into grappling now. As far as like the rules and everything like that, the refs did tend to, the first round of the tournament, the refs were a bit iffy with the rules, but as the event went on, they picked it up and got everything together. So overall, it was a super good event.
Okay. What happened with the rules there in the first event, in the first match?
Yeah, so in the first round of the tournament, so it's actually supposed to be 1 minute overtimes. Mm-hmm. And there's also supposed to be no Kani Basamis and no jumping closed guard. And I remember I went out to corner Haisam, and the first move that was done was a flying Kani Basami on him. And I was like sitting in the corner, and I'm like, that's illegal, but all right, I guess no one's gonna say anything. Wow. And then it goes to overtime, and it's supposed to be 1 minute long overtimes. And for some reason, the first round of the entire event was 2 minute overtimes, and then after the first round they switched it back to 1 minute overtimes. So it was like the first round, like pretty much every rule was broken and nothing was done about it. But after that, the second round, from there on, it was like it all ran according to schedule.
Okay. So a little shaky first. Haisam, how'd you feel?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, apart from like the rule set and like the referee, you know, messing up some, you know, some rules, I'll say everything else was like super smooth. And I felt good to be back in the competition scene. It's been a while, but also I felt a little stiff, you know.
When's the last time you competed?
Man, January.
January,
I competed in January. It was like a local event in Detroit. Well, local event. I was the main event against Tractor. So since then I haven't been back on like the big stage here. So I felt a little stiff, but you know, in general I felt really good. You know, production, everything was really on point. Apart from my fight where the ref messed up a little bit, but everything else was for good.
So Nicky, you were out there cornering, right?
Yeah.
How was your experience as a coach in the UFC Fight Pass Invitational?
I mean, it was good. You know, I mean, like everything, like they planned it out super well. It was pretty organized. You know, everybody went, you know, at the times that they predicted. So I mean, overall, like the event was pretty organized. And, you know, it wasn't like 16 hours like most jiu-jitsu events, which I can't stand. You know, like nobody. I do jiu-jitsu every day. That's my entire life, and I don't want to sit at a jiu-jitsu event for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, you want to get.
So I liked it. It was like, you know, 4 or 5 hours max, and then we were out of there. So it ran well.
And where'd you guys go right after?
Home.
I thought Craig mentioned something about Haisam. Can we include that in the breakdown? I mean, that's a pretty important part.
I think that one stays out.
Yeah.
Stays out?
Went straight to the hotel, went to bed.
Wow, early bedtime, damn.
Early bedtime, bro.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we got two other competitors in that show, Nicky Rod and Craig Jones. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, they both killed it, you know. Pretty crazy overtime. First round, Big Dan chose Spiderweb, and Nicky Rod got out in like, I think 5 seconds or something like that. Yep. Then Nicky Rod held his back for like probably 20, 30 seconds. Second round, the Big Dan chose Spiderweb again. I think that was the one where he got it like fully extended, right?
Crazy.
So he like popped his arm off, got Nicky Rod's arm like fully extended, but Nicky Rod did a super good job of like turning his shoulder with it, so he didn't get really broken at all on his arm.
Just made a omoplata to like.
And ended up just building up and turning down until he could limp arm out. And then after that, Nicky Rod locked up a strangle pretty quick at the bottom of the second, and took home the
that
30.
escape of the armbar was like one of the best moments of the whole event. I remember this watching.
That was the craziest. The craziest the crowd went throughout the entire event, by far.
Super hype.
It's pretty crazy how their match played out and like years and years ago, you see Craig and Gordon's match play out like
Yes.
kind of identical to that. You know, it's pretty cool. Like goes to that arm bar and then he gets strangled with that same arm. So
No, yeah, for sure. And then we had Craig in the main event against Penna. Craig decided to wrestle, even though he did his entire camp playing guard. Last minute, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to wrestle. I was like, all right, we'll see how it goes.
there's only so much you can do in the corner, right?
I was like,
It's all right.
okay.
And but he looked good on the feet, you know. I mean, he definitely was winning the wrestling exchanges. I think he for sure could have put him down had they not been going out of bounds.
Yeah.
And then, almost took him down a few times. That's really all that happened in regulation. And then Craig ended up winning in ride time. It was all came down to like really the first round because Craig held him pretty much for the entire minute, like all 3 rounds, or at least the first 2, and then held him a while the third one. And Craig got out in 8 seconds in the first one.
Yeah,
and
okay,
then
got him a lot of time.
and then after that, Penna held him for like the 1 minute and 1 minute. So
wow.
So it really all came down to like that quick escape in the first round, and that's what won it for him.
Looking forward to the next events. They said, I saw in the vlogs they were going to have an event in
I think September.
September and December, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think they're planning
So-
to do like 6 a year, is what I heard.
6 a year,
Yeah,
wow.
six
Okay, so
Fight
keep an
Pass
eye out for
Invitationals
those.
a year.
All open weight tournaments?
I'm not too sure about
All right.
the specific details.
We'll
And I
get the
know it's
details.
not only going to be in the U.S. I know they plan to go to Brazil. I think Australia.
Pretty much fair to say that this was the most stacked EBI event in history, and we had Nicky Rod come out on top. Where do you guys think that like puts him right now going forward? What do you think he can do in terms of his following matches, his next run at ADCC? Where do you think that leaves Nicky Rod?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the only 2 matches to make for Nicky Rod right now is either a rematch with Penna or a rematch with Gordon. I think just because like, I mean, I technically think Nicky Rod beat Penna in the last match, but the judges favored it in Penna. So a rematch between Nicky Rod and Penna would be good, and then obviously the match with Gordon on the
Big
previous
draw for that.
Fight Pass. Yeah, I think those are like the 2 biggest matches to make like in the entire sport right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say that call out at the end of his match, at the end of the tournament, was just insanely like hyping up that match. I think it's like going forward, that would be a huge draw, and everyone wants to see it. And again, the rematch with Penna would be epic. What is Craig doing going forward, huh?
I don't know. I mean,
He just beat the number 1 pound for pound grappler in the world, Philippe Penna, was just beat by the now number 1 Craig Jones. So, I mean, he's gonna have to like rebrand the whole gym at this point. I think B team doesn't really work for him anymore. So I mean, either we kick him out or he changes it to A team, right?
Team or something like that.
So what's next for Craig? What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't know. Craig, throughout the entire camp, is like, this is the last one I'm doing. He's like, I'm retiring.
He says that every time.
I know.
though.
He's like, I hate doing this shit, but I've also heard Craig say that like 20 times.
Yeah.
So
he's been
we'll
saying this
see.
for 5 years.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not going anywhere.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. That's up to him. We'll see. I mean, he could retire. His brand is huge. He definitely doesn't need to compete anymore. He could retire and live a good life without competing. But we'll see.
Yeah, also I had him say like with the right price, so I guess it's gonna depend on the price to get Craig
$20
back.
is $20.
There you go. All right, so Craig, we could see him again maybe if the price is right. And he's still out there in Vegas. He's cornering Volk, right?
yeah,
It's
that's
fight
gonna
week
be-
there. You guys sure you don't want to talk about the post match?
I don't think that's for the YouTube.
I mean, Craig gave us a little tidbit there at the end of his post-match interview, right?
We'll leave it at that.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. So check out that
Hey,
interview
for me,
if
I
you want
just
to know
went back
about
to
it.
the hotel, I prayed. I went to bed.
Wow, all right. That's all we're going to get. What's next for Haisam?
Oh yeah, actually, for me, it's gonna be Philippe Penna next. I got him scheduled on the Who's Number One, and I think style-wise, my style and this style really match really well. And I'm seeing there's gonna be a lot of scrambles, creating, finally gonna pull guard, and yeah, I've studied his game a long time now, and I'm excited to go against him. So who's number one?
August 10th.
August 10th?
Yeah.
The giraffe shows back.
Competing alongside these two gentlemen, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Right. Yes.
So August 10th.
So we all going to be on the same card, yeah?
We're all going to be on the same card. Flow Grappling's hosting an event in, what's that?
We got Dante.
I got Dante Leon, August 10th, Flow Grappling,
That's gonna
WNO
be-
for the belt, for the 155 belt. That's going to be insane. I think he's like, I'm honestly like genuinely very excited to face. I've never trained with him. Nicky's beat him a long time ago, so let's see how he's progressed. He's coming down in weight to 155, so respect that. And it's going to be crazy. Check it out, Flow Grappling, August 10th. It's in Austin, so we're going to get a big team in the crowd. It's going to be wild. Haisam has got Philippe Pena, as we just discussed, and Nicky Ryan has.
Yeah, I got Rene Souza. This will be my comeback match. It's been, last time I competed was 80cc, and then before 80cc it was like either 1 or 2 years ago against Dante. So I've like barely been active, just have been getting injured nonstop. So hopefully I can stay healthy for this one, and August 10th be going against Rene Souza.
Yeah, an interesting fact about Rene Souza, he is insanely good and dangerous with his buggy chokes, and one of our own has sadly fallen victim to said buggy choke, and that man is sitting right next to us to our left, Mr.
J-Rod. Yeah,
Yes.
J-Rod will never hear the end of it if I beat Rene, just to say the least. He's never allowed to talk shit to me again.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest, I really every day should just be posting the buggy choke that Rene hit on J-Rod, and that way when I beat him, it just makes J-Rod look awful.
You should be thanking me.
Jay actually let Rene buggy him to build Rene's brand so that Nicky can come in and scoop that momentum. So it's been a long game, and Jay's set Nicky up for success. So let's see how this plays out.
The long run.
Right? What weight is that at?
It's at 170.
170. You have to cut for that?
Nah, I'm like waking up like 169 right now.
All right.
So like a pound under.
So it's like, who's number one going to have a belt for every division now? Like,
Yeah, for sure. There's
155?
Yeah,
I think it's
155. Yeah, 145. I don't know if there's a belt holder at 145. You guys know?
I'm not sure. I don't think there's one for 170 currently either. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think it was one of the Rotolos, and then they went
they
to
had to
one.
vacate.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have a belt holder for 170 either.
All right, so a lot of open belts there up for grabs. So 155. What weight is your match at, Haisam?
Heavyweight.
Heavyweight.
So 205 plus.
205. You have to cut?
The big boys.
Oh, heavyweight's no? Okay,
heavyweight,
there we go. So,
Trying to get as much big as I can.
yes. Is that for the belt?
Nah, I don't think so.
No?
No,
Okay.
not for the belt.
No, it's for the pound spot.
Yeah.
If you beat
Who
Pena,
even got the heavyweight? Yeah.
who what?
Who got the heavyweight belt? I think Gordon maybe?
It might be Gordon. I honestly have no idea.
I know
who holds the
205 is
belts.
Pedro Murillo.
Yeah, under 205
Under
was
205.
Pedro.
Oh, And,
Under 205 is Pedro, so over 205
Over
is.
205.
I don't know who
don't know.
holds
Yeah.
185 either.
I mean, look, if you beat Pena decisively, you technically beat Craig.
Beat- Oh.
Because,
Oh.
there's no overtime. Judge's
exactly.
decision. What do you guys think? It's a heavier win than an overtime win?
Yeah.
I vote yes. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
So, a lot on the line coming up in August. That was the recap for the UFC Invitational. And that's it. Anything to add? What do you guys
That's
think?
it.
All right.
Yep, stay tuned.
All right, guys, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe to the channel. A lot more to come. Interesting things coming up. So be sure to check it out.
日本の皆さんぜひsubscribe よろしくお願いします。
What's up, guys? Make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to be pumping out content, so make sure you don't miss it.